How's everybody doing tonight? So, all of this is obviously a bit overwhelming to me, and I'm grateful and humbled that everybody came out to support this evening. And that Springsteen song was amazing. So, brought back a lot of great memories for me, and certainly made me smile. So first of all, I want to thank everybody who worked so hard to put this together tonight. Something like this doesn't come together easily. So people from the museum, people from the Railers organization, people from the Palladium, I want to thank you so much, and let's give them all a round of applause. So tonight is a great event in that it really recognizes people who make us smile. And that was the way that it was explained to me, that I had the honor of making people smile. And that's a wonderful accolade. So I want to take a moment to acknowledge some of the people that make me smile. First of all, the person that makes me smile the most and turns my occasional frown upside down back to a smile, my wife, Susan. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge my children who make me smile most of the time. And hopefully they understand tonight isn't really about me, but it's about coming together as a community for the greater good. And I hope they'll continue to make me smile. And I know that when I do my best Urkel imitation, that hopefully I make them smile as well. And Worcester is rich in history. It has a tremendous history, and the Worcester-Historical-Museum really is the steward and the guardian of that history. And we feel a special connection to that. You may have heard the story. When we first were looking to name the team, I'm big on alliteration. So I came up with the name of the Worcester Whitehawks. And we even developed a logo. We had some checks. I'm not sure those checks actually cashed, but we had created Worcester Whitehawk checks. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I read social media. I don't actually post, but I read it. I don't have a Facebook or anything. But, and I happened to be reading that somebody had found out that we intended to name the team the Worcester Whitehawks. And in true Worcester fashion, they said, that's a terrible name. What the heck does a Whitehawk have to do with Worcester? It's a bird native to South America. And whoever that person is was right. And so not having been from Worcester, what did my wife and I do? My wife called the Worcester Historical Museum, spent an hour on the phone. We subsequently visited the museum, and we got an education on the history of Worcester. And it was critical. And we had a couple of choices, but we settled on the Railers because it isn't just part of the history of Worcester, it's still very visible. And so we feel a special connection to the Worcester Historical Museum. And as more and more people come to Worcester from outside of the community, it's going to continue to be an integral part of educating. And it's why we really came out here to support the museum. So people ask me all the time, what brought you to Worcester? The dialogue usually goes something like this. Did you grow up in Worcester? No. Did your family grow up in Worcester? No. And they say, were your parents from Worcester? No. Well, what brought you to Worcester? And so I always tell the literal, ostensible story of what brought me to Worcester, which was the Worcester Sharks. We had come to Worcester to watch a Worcester Sharks game, and that's what brought us to Worcester. But I don't really think that is why we came to Worcester. I think the real reason that we came here is much more subtle, and it's a commonality of purpose. And what I mean by that is I reached a stage in my life at 50 years old, a long time ago, at 50, and I decided that I wanted to do something meaningful, something impactful, and give something back for all of the blessings that I had received. And somehow, some way, we ended up in Worcester. And so I don't really think it had anything to do with coming to a Sharks game, quite honestly. I think it had to do with this community. I've never seen a community more interested in giving back. I've never seen a community more concerned about the welfare of others. I've never seen a number of foundations for a relatively small city that are so invested in the greater good. So while I may continue to repeat the story about the hockey game that brought us here, I don't think that's really what it was. I think it was the energy and the compassion and the desire to give back that you in this community have exhibited, and I think that's really what brought us here. So I want to thank you for that.